Welcome back to the second part of this lecture with me, Dr. Troy Tarpley at West Texas A&M University. This lecture, we're going to tackle 7 steps to creating a compelling and profitable personal brand. After reaching out to dozens of entrepreneurs and branding experts, the folks at So the first one is build your foundation. The first step to crafting your personal brand is to lay a foundation that you can confidently and authentically build upon. The key principle here is authenticity. There is this misconception that building a personal brand means crafting a persona, but a persona by definition is a facade. It's not true. It's not a true reflection of who you are, and therefore it's not authentic. Your personal brand should not be an inauthentic persona. Branding is not about positioning yourself as something that you're not. It's about purposefully and strategically showcasing your authentic self to your audience and your customer. Your personal brand should be a true reflection of your skills, passions, values, and beliefs. And this is something that we covered in class, talking about in some instances some of these people and personas and brands. It's performative in some instances, and so you kind of have to find your way through this and think about in what instances do you want to be your authentic self, or what instances do you need to maybe place yourself into a different headspace. So this one is kind of up to you, and you're going to move through this as best as you can. But here's some key elements. Once you've identified your existing brand assets, the next step is to start piecing together the key elements of your personal brand. These will help you guide your decisions as you build your personal brand. Your brand vision. What do you want to be known for? If you become known as the world's go-to expert on whatever topic, what is that topic going to be? And I think for a lot of people, especially students, this might not be very clear at this point. Some of y'all haven't necessarily began your career yet, and so you're not sure really where you might want to end up. Your brand mission. What do you want to build a personal brand over? What is your purpose? Who do you want to influence? And what do you want to accomplish? So once again, some pretty big questions that I think it'll be important in your personal development to think about and possibly answer. Let's move on to your brand message. What is the key message you want to communicate? What message do you want to consistently reinforce in your content and in your marketing? If you could only give one piece of advice to your audience, what would it be? And we see this time and time again when we talk about message development or content creation, especially whenever we're thinking about public relations or risk and crisis communication. If you could only get one thing across to your audience, what would it be? And so it's worth spending some time on. And this last point up here, your brand personality. What are some of your personal characteristics and traits that you can weave into your brand? Do you want to be perceived as very polished and professional, or perhaps more quirky and adventurous? Next is to choose your target audience. One of the biggest mistakes you can make as you build your personal brand is trying to appeal to everyone. In reality, not everyone is your ideal client or your target audience. In order to attract your perfect client or audience, you must be willing to repel those who you do not want to work with or you think it might waste your time to reach out to. This means identifying a specific target audience and building a brand that is attractive to them. It may seem counterintuitive, but if you try to be liked by everyone, you will attract no one. You must be polarizing in order to stand out. Not everyone that is exposed to you or sees your message will like your response, or this won't resonate with everyone. And it's perfectly fine. You don't need to reach everyone to build a successful personal brand. You just need to reach your perfect client. I've said this in class before, and I think it's worth repeating, especially when we're trying to communicate to the general, or when we're trying to communicate agriculture. A lot of people say, well, I want to reach everyone or just the general consumer. There's really no such thing. If you take a look at a bell curve and you put two opposite viewpoints of one topic, so for example, if we talk about agriculture, we could have one end of that bell curve being conventional agriculture and the other being organic agriculture, and we'll see people be polarized towards to each side, but there's going to be a point in the middle which has the largest part of the audience. And so it's not going to benefit you to communicate how conventional agriculture is to those already practicing it or who believe in it, and you're going to waste your time trying to preach all the good things about conventional agriculture to those who are polarized toward the organic side. You're going to get the most out of talking to that middle segment, the people that make up the majority of the bell curve. A valuable exercise that's recommended for you to do is creating your perfect client profile. Sometimes this is called a client avatar, but I think more people understand it as you developing a persona. The more you understand about your perfect audience, or your target audience, the better off you're going to be. So include things like their desires, the challenges. The more prepared you are, the better you'll be at creating products and services for this target audience. Some things that you can include in this client profile or persona are demographics, their desires and aspirations, and different challenges that this person might face, the struggles that this person might be going through. It's a really valuable exercise. In order to build a profitable personal brand, you need to have something to sell your target audience. And so this brings us to the third point: create an irresistible offer. What you love to do plus what you do best plus what your audience wants most is a great equation to get an irresistible offer. This is why we identify the perfect audience member before you create a product or service or message. It's really important. When you know exactly who you want to help, you can create an offer that is a perfect solution for them. Nicholas Kumshik is a Facebook advertising strategist, and here's an example. Helps businesses rapidly scale revenue by getting more clients using Facebook advertising. That's what he does. That's what Nicholas does. And to help him stand out from thousands of other Facebook advertising experts that do the same thing he does, he's developed a proprietary process, and he gave it a unique name: contextual congruence. Here's a screenshot of kind of what he does that helps describe what he offers. So he's kind of gone through and figured out a way to kind of set himself apart with this new name for something that he offers. So optimize your personal website. Having a personal website is an important component of building a personal brand. Having a strong presence on your social media is important too, but you do not own or control any of the social platform that you establish a presence on. Your website is a platform that you own and control, and in many cases, visiting your website will be one of the steps that your target audience takes towards becoming a client. First impressions are critical. When you have a target audience visit your personal website, they should be able to immediately understand who you are and how you can help them. They will feel like they've come to the right place. If this doesn't happen within a few seconds, most visitors will leave your website. A really strong analogy that I use in web design is these are hungry predators. People that are searching the internet are hungry predators. There is something specific that they want, and that is a specific piece of answer or a specific piece of information. It is the answer to the question that they are asking. And if they can't find it on your website within 2.7 seconds, they will leave your website. So you have to understand already in advance before you build your website what your audience wants and present that to them as quickly as possible. Key elements of your website homepage need to be things like a professional logo. Get a designer or yourself to turn your name into a professional logo. If you're looking for a graphic design service, there's lots available to you. Fiverr is a fantastic option that matches you to freelancers who will work with you, and it's pretty cost effective. Of course, hopefully most of you have taken a media design class, so I think some of you would have some of those skills in your pocket already. Value your proposition. Make sure your value proposition, which is who you help and how you help them, is displayed prominently on your homepage, ideally near the top. A professional photo is also going to be really important. Social proof, so some testimonials, some examples are always going to be important. And then, of course, it needs a clear call to action. Give your website visitors a clear next step, whether it's joining your email list, registering for a free webinar, or applying for a free consultation. Whatever it is, be sure that you offer it. This is going to be really, really important. If you don't tell your audience what you want them to do next, they're not going to do it, and you're going to lose out on further communication with them. Have a content strategy. Creating and distributing free content is one of the most effective ways to build your brand and earn the trust of your target audience. Instead of trying to convince your audience that you can help them, you create content that actually helps them. This builds trust and helps to position you as an expert and an authority in your industry. So here are some examples. Let's say that you are a freelance social media content creator. We'll provide some examples. If you have some tips that you found to be successful, offer that to people visiting your website for free. Things like guides, checklists, worksheets, those are great, as they're kind of getting a taste of what you can offer them. Focus on quality and consistency when it comes to what you develop and post for your content. For content marketing to work, it is important to focus on quality and consistency. Don't publish content that will reflect poorly on your brand, and be consistent on how often you publish new content for your audience. This is so important. Oftentimes we start really strong with putting out messages, and we don't do it consistently. And when people see those large gaps in between new published content, it kind of sets off a red flag right away. Content marketing is a long-term play, but it pays off incredible dividends when it's done correctly. Creating and promoting content is also more time-consuming and expensive than most people realize. So it's worth it, though. It is the last bit of that. Have a visibility strategy. Publishing content on your own platform is a great way to build your audience, but it also takes a lot of time. The faster way to build your audience is with exposure to other people's audiences. This is part of that networking that we talked about in the previous lecture. So here's some common ways to increase your visibility. Interviews and some positive PR. Write articles for other blogs and online publication that your target audience reads. Public speaking. Apply to speak at live events, local meetup groups, conferences, anywhere that you know your target audience is going to come together. And partnership and joint ventures or collaboration. Building mutually beneficial relationships with other peoples and companies can lead to a number of opportunities, including guest blogging, interviews, joint ventures, partnerships, and customer referrals. Build a community. Instead of trying to build a large and broad audience, shift your focus to becoming a leader of a community in a specific niche. Define your target audience and build a community for them to interact with each other. Share ideas, support each other, and reach out to you directly. Here are a few things that you can do to build a community around your brand and your business. Facebook groups are a great opportunity. You can create a private Facebook group for your audience and your clients. This will give you the opportunity to engage in meaningful conversations with your audience on a daily basis. I think a great example, some podcasts that I follow, they actually have a private Facebook group that people who listen to the podcast can join. Another great example are Patreon accounts. So some people that I follow on YouTube or listen to their podcasts have Patreon accounts. So you can spend a certain amount of money, be part of that community, and they're more likely to reach out to you or comment back on messages that you send. This also kind of rolls into membership sites. So you can create a membership site where in exchange for a monthly fee, your clients can have access to exclusive content, live calls, webinars, trainings with you on a regular basis. Another one are live events. So host different live events so your audience or clients can spend more time with you in person. These can be things like casual meetups, private dinners, workshops, retreats, anything that can create a tighter, more intimate meeting is always going to be beneficial. So start building your personal brand. There's never been a better time to be an entrepreneur. And thanks to the internet and technology, the barriers to enter into this entrepreneurship are practically non-existent. So anyone can build a brand and an audience online and create products and services to sell to their audience. So for you as a student who's working on getting into the workforce and developing a career, spend some time now to think about what you want your professional personal brand to be, and create it in a way that no matter where you go within your career, that will follow you, and you can work on developing yourself as an expert in a certain field or create a niche that makes you the go-to person for people or media when they are seeking certain information. So that's it for this lecture series on building a personal and professional brand and managing it. If you have questions, feel free to reach out to me. My West Texas A&M University email account is ttarpley@wtamu.edu. Thanks.